Last time, we built a little pointer model. It learns to read one cell of memory, chosen by content rather than by position, a soft, learned pointer dereference. When the memory is small, you can practically watch it work. One layer gathers the address, the next layer lights up on the cell that address points to, and the answer falls out the far side. So here is a fair thing to ask of any attention model. 2 questions, really, and they are not the same question.
That second part sounds like the easy one. Attention already tells you where the model looked. You pull up the heat map, you find the brightest cell, and that is your explanation. The bright square is where the information came from. Is that not the whole point of attention, that it shows its work?
That is exactly the belief I want to take apart, because it is so reasonable, and it is so widely held, and it is wrong in a way that matters. Keep the 2 questions apart. First, does the model compute the right thing? Second, can you see how? It does it just by reading the attention weights. The lesson of this episode is that those 2 answers come apart. The model can be a perfect, provable pointer, and its attention map can quietly refuse to show you the lookup. Attention weight is not information flow. That sentence is the whole episode, and it is a warning about a habit the whole field has of reading a heat map and narrating a story about what the model must be doing. Let me earn the warning, one step at a time, on a model small enough that we can actually check every claim. Take the first question first, and answer it without touching a single attention map. Here is the test. Take the cell the model is supposed to be reading, the addressed cell, and flip the bit stored there. Then look at what comes out. If the model is really reading that cell, and reading it honestly, the output should flip right along with it. This is an intervention, not an observation. We are not watching the model and hoping to interpret what we see. We are reaching in, changing exactly one thing, and asking what moves in response. That is a stronger kind of evidence than any picture of the internals, because it tests what the cell does, not what it looks like. And it moves exactly as it should. Flip the address cell, and the output tracks the new value about 99.5% of the time. Now flip some other cell, one the model is meant to be ignoring, and the output changes only about 0.5% of the time. Put those 2 numbers together, and the conclusion is airtight. The model reads exactly the addressed cell and essentially nothing else. And notice what we never did. We never looked inside. No heat map, no weights, nothing but cause and effect on the output.
All right, but that is just confirming what the heat map would have told us anyway. Surely when you do finally pull up the attention, the bright cell is the same one you were flipping. The 2 pictures have to agree.
You would expect them to agree. That expectation is the second question, and it is exactly where the tidy story falls apart. So let us pull up the attention and watch what the weights actually say. When the memory is small, the attention really is legible. The final query concentrates hard on the address cell, one bright spike sitting right where you want it. The heat map tells the truth. Now grow the memory. Give the model many more cells to choose between. The behavior stays perfect. The flip test still passes cleanly, but the attention map goes soft. For most addresses, the final query barely concentrates on the correct cell at all. You stare at the heat map, and you mostly do not see the lookup happening.
Then maybe it just stopped using that cell so much. If the attention there went weak, is the model not simply reading it less? Weak attention, weak reliance. That would explain the soft map.
That is the trap, and the flip test is what pulls us out of it. The flip test is not negotiable. Flip that cell, and the output still flips at 99.5%. The information is pouring through that cell. So we have weak attention and a strong causal effect on the very same cell at the very same time. How can both be true? Here is the mechanism. A head's output is not its attention weights. It is the attention-weighted sum of values. And that value projection can quietly suppress a cell you attend to hard, or carry real information through a cell you barely attend to at all. On top of that, the work is spread across many heads and several layers. The moment the computation distributes, the attention map becomes a weak instrument. It shows you where a head pointed. It does not show you what actually moved. So if the heat map will not show us the information flow, what would? Not a prettier picture of the weights, a causal experiment. Run the model twice, once cleanly and once with that addressed bit flipped. Now go into the residual stream. The running memory the layers read from and write back to, and patch the clean version in at exactly one place, one layer and one position at a time. Then ask a single question of each patch. Does restoring this one spot restore the correct answer? Wherever it does, that spot is where the bit's value was actually living at that moment. Do that patch by patch, and a clean picture finally appears, the one the attention maps kept hidden. You watch the value of the bit get carried out of the address cell, step by step across the layers, toward the position that reads out the answer. The structure was there the whole time. It was just living in the residual stream and not in the attention weights. The causal probe puts the mechanism back in view, exactly where looking at attention had lost it.
And the first time you traced it, did it come out as tidy as you are making it sound now?
No, and I want to be honest about that, because the tidy version is a lie. I started with a clean story. That one particular layer refines the lookup the earlier layers begin. The data refuted it. I tried a second clean story, that the heads split the address space neatly between themselves. The data refuted that one too. What survived is narrower and less satisfying. The model computes the right cell, and that part is not up for debate. The extra depth buys a multi-stage assembly of the query, and the dereference itself is distributed in a way the attention maps will simply never show you. Two nice stories had to die to get to the true one. And none of this is exotic. This is the induction head. Story shrunk down to toy. Find the relevant earlier position and copy what is useful from it. In a real language model, that same move is smeared across many heads at once. Ablate any single one of them, and the behavior barely twitches because the others quietly cover for it. The clean mechanistic accounts in that whole literature come from causal patching, not from staring at attention. Our tiny memory growing large is that entire arc in fast forward. A legible circuit while the problem is small, illegible attention once it grows, and a causal probe that puts the mechanism back. So here is the lesson, and it reaches well past this one toy. Behavioral legibility and causal legibility can both stay perfectly airtight, while the read-it-off-the-weights kind quietly degrades as the model grows. That is why the field reaches for causal interventions in the first place, and it is why. Head 7 is the lookup head, is a sentence you should not believe until someone has run a causal test behind it, which gives us this episode's scorecard, and it reads a little differently from the others in the series. The bias we are tempted by, that a high attention weight means the token mattered. The win we get for believing it, cheap, plausible stories you can read straight off the map. And the bill that comes due. Those stories are simply wrong once the work spreads across heads and layers. The escape is not to stop asking how the model works. It is to demand the right kind of evidence for the answer. A bright square on a heat map is a hypothesis. A causal intervention, patch a value in and watch the answer move, is what turns that hypothesis into a claim you can trust. So read the weights for ideas. Trust the interventions for mechanism. And when someone tells you which head is doing the work, ask the only question that settles it. What happens to the answer when you reach in and change it?